This is video number 1 for Excel module number 2 in the Shelly Cashman book on Office 365. We've already opened up Excel. We've got a blank worksheet in front of us. So if you haven't already done that, go ahead and open Excel and choose blank worksheet to start off with. And we're going to start putting some data in. Let's go to cell A1. Before I start, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. I can either go down to the zoom slider down here and click on the plus, or what I'm going to do instead is hold the control key down and push forward on the wheel of the mouse. So it should be a little bit easier to read now. So with the cursor in A1, we're going to enter the title of the worksheet. It's going to be Clapor Engineering. Hit enter or the down arrow to go down to A2. Our subtitle is going to be Salary Report. Hit the enter key or the down arrow, go down to A3. We're going to start putting in some column headings. Employee, email address, dependents, hours, and we want hours worked here, but we want it to appear on two separate lines. The way that you move to a separate line and still stay in the same cell is to hold the Alt key down and press enter, which I'm going to do right now. So type in hours worked, and now you can hit enter, and that completes the cell. So both of those words got entered in cell D3. Now we're going to go to column E, cell 3, hourly, Alt enter, pay rate, tab to go to column F. Okay, we got the titles typed in. Now we're at the bottom of page 2-5, and we're going to enter the salary data. We want to go to cell A4. Start typing in some names here. After the name, we're going to finish the rest of the row. We're going to skip over the email address, and we're going to go to dependents is going to be 3, and then fill in the rest of the row and the information for the other employees down below. Okay, that took a while, but we've got all the data from the table on page 2-6. Now we're going to look at the feature called Flash Fill, which is a really handy feature of Excel. So we're on the top of page 2-7, select cell B4. So B4. Type Baltor at example.com. And it recognizes that as an email address because of the @ sign and the .com on the end, so it actually formats it differently here for us. And the way we determined this was we took the first initial of the first name and then the last name, and then we combined that with the @ example.com. Now, we need to do 2 of these. We're going to go down here and do lfox at example.com. So we've done 2 of them now, and that's enough for Excel to figure out the pattern and guess what we're doing. Sometimes it guesses right, sometimes it doesn't. We want to select all of this range now from here down to here. Then we're going to go to our Data tab. And over here under our Data Tools, there's something called Flash Fill. We're going to click on Flash Fill. Now we're going to have to widen this column a little bit to see what actually got filled in there. Let's go ahead and double click on that. And then take a look. And what it has done is it has copied the pattern that we set for it. First initial, last name at example.com. And because we did that twice in a row, it was smart enough to realize that we were getting this data from over here, and it filled in the rest for us. So that is a really handy feature of Excel. So we're at the bottom of page 2-7. It says remove the entries from cells B1 and B2. I don't see anything in B1 and B2 right now. This data right here that's showing up is actually in cell A1, and it just happens to be a little bit too long. And since there's nothing in column B, it's going to show that to you. If there was something in column B, it would not show that to you. It would truncate it. So let's turn to page 2-8. We're going to enter some row titles. We want to go to cell A13, type in the word totals, hit the down arrow or the enter key, type in highest, hit the enter key again, hit the enter key again. Okay. So those are our row titles. We're going to be doing some calculations for those rows. Now we're at the bottom of page 2-8, and what we want to do is change the sheet tab name and color. So our tab is down here. The tab name is sheet 1. Let's double click on it. Its current color is white. We're going to put a descriptive name here. We're going to call this salary report and hit enter. Then we want to right click and we want to change the color. So go to tab color. Tab color we want is column 5, row 1. So let's go to column 5. It's the blue, and row 1 is called blue accent 1. Go ahead and click on that. We'll get a blue tab down here. The active tab, the active worksheet, is always going to have a faded out color for the tab down here. So you can still see that it's blue, but if I go to another worksheet, let me just click on the plus sign over here and open up a new blank sheet. That's what it'll look like when it's not selected. Let's go back here and select it. And now we're at the bottom of page 2-8, number 4, save the worksheet using SCXEX to clapboard. So let's go to file up here, do a save or save as, it doesn't matter the first time. Let's click on browse and put it wherever you want to put it. I'm going to put it on my desktop as I have been with all of my files. We're going to call this SC for Shelly Cashman, underscore EX for Excel, underscore 2 for module 2, underscore clapboard. Go ahead and either hit enter or hit save. We're saving it as a workbook, so it'll have the XLSX extension on the end. Go ahead and click on save. It'll save the document for us, and it'll take us back into Excel. Now we're going to put some formulas in. So we're going to go to page 2-9. We want to go to cell F4. So here's column F and here's row 4. We want to put in a formula there that will calculate the gross pay. Gross pay is just going to be the hours worked times the hourly pay rate. So we need to put a formula here that says multiply this number by this number. Formulas always start with an equal sign, so put an equal sign in there. And I want to take E4. I can type E4. It doesn't have to be a capital E. I'm sorry, I want to do D first. D4 times, and the multiplication symbol in Excel is an asterisk. So type in an asterisk. It's above the 8. And then I want to multiply that by E4. Excel will highlight those two cells in blue and red for me so I can verify that I really did select the right cells, I really did type in the right names, and I can go ahead and hit the enter key. It'll multiply those two numbers together. So that's what a simple formula looks like. The arithmetic operations in Excel are given on page 2-10. The basic symbols are plus for addition, minus for subtraction, a slash for division, an asterisk for multiplication, not an X, caret symbol, which is above the 6 for exponentiation. Percent will just turn a number into a percent, and the hyphen will also do a minus sign as well as subtraction. The order of operations is exactly what you would expect it to be. It's what you learned in algebra class. Anything in parentheses is done first. After that, any exponents are done. After that, multiplication, division are done from left to right. And after that, any addition and subtraction are done last. So now we're at the bottom of page 2-11. We're going to enter some formulas, and we're not going to type them in this time. We're going to use the mouse to point at the cells that we want in the formula. So we're going to go to cell G4. So that's going to be the federal tax. Let's go to the bottom page 2-11. We're going to enter some more formulas. This time, instead of typing all the cell references, we're going to have Excel put them in for us when we click on the cell itself. So go to G4, we're going to type a formula. Formulas always start with an equal sign, so type an equal sign. 0.26 is going to be the tax rate. We want to multiply that. The asterisk is the multiplication symbol. Put a left parenthesis. Click on cell F4. And I want to take that number and I want to subtract from it. So we're going to do a minus. And what I want to subtract from it is going to be the number of dependents, which is over here. Click on C4 and it'll put in the formula for you. It also turns it red. So I take the number of dependents, multiply it by 22.6, and deduct that from my gross pay before multiplying by the tax rate. Okay, go ahead and hit enter. The number we should get is 665.508. Let's go to column H. We're on the middle page 2-12 now, number 3. In cell H4, enter the formula equals, to indicate we're doing a formula, 0.055 times. Click on F4, our gross pay. Hit enter, or you can hit the tab key. We should get $144.43 in there, 0.437. Let's go to column I. This is going to be a formula as well. Hit the equals and the left parenthesis. Then we want to click on G4, our federal tax. Type a plus, click on H4, close the parentheses. So we want to add those two numbers together. Then we want to divide by the gross pay, which is F4. So click on F4, and that's the end of the formula. Go ahead and hit enter. Now we're going to column J. We're at the top of page 2-13. So click in cell J4. We're doing another formula. Type the equal sign in here, or click on F4. So our net pay is going to be the gross pay minus these two tax numbers. So we want to subtract. Click on G4, do another minus, and click on H4 and hit enter. I noticed he didn't do that way in the book. He added the two tax amounts together first and then subtracted, but it comes out the same either way. So now we're going to take a look at copying formulas using the fill handle. The formulas on row 4 here all apply to Altor. The gross pay, I'm just double clicking now, and then I'm going to hit escape to get out of the formula. But I want to take this number times this number. If I copy this formula down one row, it'll do this number times this number. If I copy it down another row, it'll take this number times this number, and so on. And the same thing applies here. So all of these formulas are relative to the numbers that are on row 4. If I copy them down, they will all be relative to the numbers on their corresponding rows, row 5 and 6 and 7 and so on. So the things we want to copy are these formulas right here. Select them all by taking the white plus sign and dragging through them. Then go to the lower right hand corner of the selection. You'll get your fill handle, that skinny black plus sign, and click and drag that all the way down through row 12. And it just copied all the formulas. And just to double check and make sure it's really doing what we think it's doing, I'm going to double click on a few formulas here. Yep, it's multiplying those two together. I'm going to click on this one here, and it is taking the gross pay and multiplying it by 0.055. Click on this one here, and it is taking the two tax amounts, number in G and the number in H, and dividing it by the purple number over there in F8, which is exactly what it did up above as well. And the net pay for all of these should be the gross pay minus the federal tax minus the state tax. So everything got copied correctly. Now let's flip over to page 2-14. And that's probably a good place to stop for this video. We will continue on page 214 with the second video for Module 2 of Excel.